kind of the same things that Oklahoma has struggled with throughout the year that they struggled with here in this game. First and foremost, I'm going to kind of get this out of the way and talk about the officiating. Was about as bad as I've seen all year. A couple of calls specifically, went against Oklahoma. Obviously, the throw in the end zone late there, where Jaden Hazelwood is almost is almost tackled, and he and that's not thrown. That flag's not thrown. The late hit on Kennedy Brooks when Oklahoma was backed up again. They throw the flag and then they pick it up, and just it was bad. Just overall, don't think that's the reason necessarily. Well, certainly would have given them a chance to win the game late there, but don't necessarily think that it's the reason why Oklahoma lost this game. However, when you look at penalties, Oklahoma I think had around 12 penalties, a lot of pre-snap penalties, both on the offense and defensive lines. Offensive line was very, very inconsistent from time to time. Pass blocking, wasn't horrible throughout the game. Run blocking was very kind of inconsistent. And it was really just a tale of two halves, I think, for Oklahoma. Oklahoma played pretty well, specifically offensively in the first half. Mixed in a lot of the pass and the run. Was sometimes they would run on first down, sometimes they would, was Lincoln Riley had them on their heels a little bit. Went, that the H back and the tight end was really, really open, took advantage of that opportunity. And as good as the game plan was in the first half, it was about equally as bad in the second half. A lot of situations where Oklahoma would run the ball, then they would go 2-3 straight plays with dropping Caleb back and throwing the ball. So at the end of the day, you've got to find a way to put points on the board offensively in the second half. I think Oklahoma had they might have had over 100 yards with that with the Caleb Williams run there on the last possession. But having said that, really, really inconsistent play on the offensive side of the ball late. I think defensively played well enough for them to win the game. Obviously, but offensively didn't play good enough, and just untimely mistakes. If you think about it, Oklahoma in this game, got a lot of things handed to them earlier in the game. There was the pass interference play on third down against Oklahoma State that allowed the drive to continue. There was another penalty on the next drive that allowed the drive to continue. I think there's some, there was some obviously the safety that Oklahoma got. The Oklahoma forced that, and then Oklahoma got the obviously the touchdown on the muff punt. So I think there's a lot of Oklahoma got a lot of breaks in the first half, and I think Oklahoma State got a lot of breaks in the second half. Just in terms of the punt, the muff punt, which was huge. Don't know why you try to secure that ball, try to even field that ball inside the 5, and just like I said, just inconsistent play. There's some times where Caleb Williams played his butt off. He did everything that he could. He was. And then a big issue for this team is at the wide receiver position. They don't have elite speed. They don't have the ability to get open. There was a lot of times where Caleb Williams had enough time there in the second half. The receivers just weren't getting open. So a lot of things to go through, with this kind of moving forward. Offense was I think Ryan, it was you that had the comment. I haven't put it on the screen yet, but very schizophrenic in terms of the way they played. Oklahoma's got to find a way to combat this umbrella defense that these teams play against Oklahoma. So now Oklahoma, obviously, for the first time in 6 years, they won't have the opportunity to play for a Big 12 championship. I think, I think there's a lot of people that will maybe agree with me. I think there's a lot of people that might, if you're sunshine pumpers. I'm not necessarily one of those guys, but I consider this an extremely disappointing season. Yes, you finished the season a double. You won 10 games. However, I think the bar set for this season was at the very least a playoff game. But I think the bar was a lot of people, including me, thought this team had the talent to play for a national championship, maybe even win a national championship. And to go from where they are at and to where they were projected to be early on in the season into exactly um, where they're at now, not even playing for not even having the opportunity to win a Big 12 championship is very, very disappointing.